The Forgotten Doll. It was a cold and stormy night, the kind that sent chills down your spine. As I was walking home from my friend's house, I took a shortcut through an old, abandoned neighborhood. The streets were deserted, and the dim streetlights barely illuminated the eerie silence that hung in the air. It was a place that everyone had forgotten, a place where stories of strange occurrences and ghostly figures circulated among the locals. As I walked, a strange feeling washed over me, and I couldn't shake the sensation of being watched. The wind howled, and the old trees creaked, making the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end. It was then that I spotted it. A lone doll sitting on the sidewalk, its porcelain face peering up at me with empty eyes. I had heard tales about this doll, about how it was cursed and had caused misfortune to anyone who dared to pick it up. A chill ran down my spine, but my curiosity got the better of me. I approached cautiously and picked up the doll, half expecting something terrible to happen. As I held the doll in my trembling hands, I noticed something odd. Its face seemed to change, its expression becoming more lifelike. I quickly dismissed it as a trick of the light, trying to convince myself that it was just an ordinary doll. But deep down, I knew there was something off about it. I decided to take the doll home, thinking that I could study it and maybe prove to myself that it was all just superstition. Little did I know that my decision would mark the beginning of a nightmare I could never escape. That night, as I lay in bed, I heard soft footsteps in the hallway. My heart pounded in my chest as I got up to investigate. I found the doll sitting on the floor, its eyes fixed on me. I was certain that I had left it on the table, but now it was on the floor, as if it had moved on its own. Trying to shake off the fear, I picked up the doll and returned it to the table. It must have fallen, I mumbled to myself, trying to rationalize the situation. I went back to bed, but the feeling of being watched lingered, making sleep impossible. In the following days, strange things began to happen. Objects would move on their own, doors would creak open without a draft, and I would hear giggling from empty rooms. Each time I experienced these eerie occurrences, the doll seemed to be nearby, watching me with its lifeless eyes. As the days turned into weeks, I became increasingly paranoid. I felt like I was losing my grip on reality, and I couldn't escape the feeling that the doll was somehow to blame. My once peaceful home had become a prison of fear, and I was its captive. One night, I decided that enough was enough. I couldn't bear the terror any longer, so I resolved to get rid of the doll. I took it to the old abandoned neighborhood where I had found it and buried it deep in the ground, hoping that it would stay there forever. For a few days, it seemed like the nightmare had finally ended. The strange occurrences ceased, and I started to believe that I had broken the curse. But my relief was short-lived. One evening, as I was lying in bed, I heard a soft voice whispering my name. "You can't escape me," it said, sending shivers down my spine. I turned on the lights, and there, sitting at the foot of my bed, was the doll, its porcelain face twisted into a sinister grin. Terror consumed me as I realized that the doll had returned, and it was more determined than ever to torment me. It had found its way back, and there was no escape from its malevolence. I tried everything to get rid of the doll, but it seemed to have a life of its own. No matter how many times I tried to destroy it, it would always reappear, taunting me with its haunting presence. In the end, I had no choice but to accept my fate. The doll had become a part of me, a constant reminder that some nightmares never end. I was forever trapped in the clutches of the forgotten doll, destined to live my life in fear and torment. So, to all those who may come across a seemingly innocent doll, heed my warning. For if you pick it up, you may unleash a terror that will haunt you for the rest of your days. Beware the forgotten doll, for its curse is one that cannot be broken.